What is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. Today we're going to talk about playing melodic solos in open D tuning on lap steel. This can be applied to guitar and to other tunings. Obviously, you're just going to have to change some of the diagrams. The reason I'm sitting off to this side of the frame is that we will be putting diagrams up here eventually. I'm coming to you from my parents' garage. Please excuse the noise from the refrigerators and the furnace and the washing machine and all this stuff. Okay, I'm going to do a bunch of talking. I think it's important stuff to say, but if you're not interested, you just want to get to the very first exercise, it's going to start here. Okay, we're in open D tuning. If you don't know what that is, I would suggest Googling it, but it's DAD, F sharp AD, low to high, right? So get tuned up, get ready to go. I was having a conversation with this guy the other day. He was asking me why I don't teach lessons, and I was like, look, this is why, because people don't want to learn the stuff that I'm trying to teach. I don't want to teach Santo and Johnny. I don't want to do some of the traditional lap steel stuff. If you're looking for that, there are some great guys, right? Lessonswithtroy.com, right? MikeWitcher.com. Ooh. What I want to talk about today, make sure everything's running, good. What I want to talk about today is learning a scale and then creating melodic solos. This is gonna be a multi-part video series. I'm just, as I was getting ready for this, I could already tell you that. So when I was talking to this guy and he's like, I don't want to learn, I don't want to know where it's coming from. I just want to learn some fast licks. I just want to be flashy. He goes, I think I'm pretty musical. I don't really know what I'm playing. And I would argue that my favorite steel players, my favorite musicians, all play pretty melodically, and the idea that I don't know what I'm playing is the problem. So part of what my process is going to be, and if you've been watching any of the other videos I've done, we're talking a lot about playing through the changes. We're talking about knowing where you are, and I'm gonna expound on a lot of that today. So yeah, I just can't, you got to know what you're playing, right? We want to be playing to what's happening. Okay, one other thing before we get started. Today's track and all of the diagrams and all of the lesson materials for today's lesson are all available on Patreon. The link is in the bio below. It is $5 a month at the time of filming this. I hope you will join me. I hope you will follow me there. I hope you that's the way I'm going to try to fund this thing. It does take quite a bit of time to make these videos, and so I'm going to see if this is financially feasible and energy-wise feasible to continue. So I hope you will join me there. For starters, gear being used, today I'm using an Apocalypse Machine lap steel. I build these for myself. Righteous Sound pickups. I'm going to be basically on the noiseless single coil today. I'm going to try to keep speaking towards the microphone, but it is what it is. I'm going through a Empress Effects compressor. Pardon me, Mark II, and then I'm going into my DCC Darko's Custom Creations Plexi. Tone's on 5, volume is on 4, and it sounds like this. I'm going out of this, by the way. I'm not using a cab today. I'm going through the 2 notes, Torpedo Captor X into Logic with a little bit of delay from Sound Toys and a little bit of reverb from Valhalla. Yes. Okay, that's all the stuff. So, okay, we're working in the D major scale. And I'm gonna have some diagrams, but I wanna start with just the idea of what is a D major scale. It is D, E, I don't know how to count, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. The reason that I have to think so hard about that is I don't actually use the letters that often. What I really do is I think in numbers. So if I'm looking at the scale here and I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it starts over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. We're gonna delve more into why this is useful, but for starters, let me put a diagram up. Okay, now this obviously has different colored dots. I'm gonna explain why later, but this is the major scale. The very first thing that we could be doing is finding our 1 notes. I have highlighted them. That takes way more time than is reasonable. There's got to be an easier way. At some point I should take a video editing class. But these are our 1s. Okay, so knowing where my 1 is, and then starting with just the real simple, here's our first exercise. I thought it would take longer to get here. Here's our first exercise. Just going 1, 2, 3. And then doing it here. 1, 2, 3. Right, doing it down here. 1, 2, 3. Doing it here. 1, 2, 3. Doing it here. 1, 2, 3. Doing it down here. 1, 2, 3. Doing it down here. Knowing where my 1s are, that is the most important thing. Finding them, knowing where they are. And it might be important to just sit here and go, okay, so 1, 2, 3. Have I talked about this? I'm gonna get into it more. Okay, we're gonna get into it more. But let's start with this, knowing where our 1s are. And then playing that. So playing the 1s, you know, so the place, I'm gonna be a little bit all over the place. We're gonna go with it. Check it out. If I'm looking at like You're My Sunshine. 5, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 4, 3, 6, 5, 4, 3, right? It's a lot of times it's going in order of the scale. So knowing where the scale is to some degree, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, going in between different strings. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're gonna start seeing it's a whole step from 1 to 2. It's a whole step from 2 to 3. But a lot of times it's right here. Okay. Same thing up here, right? Yeah. That's even easier there. Yeah. So I don't play scales like that a lot, but I do want to know where I am all the time with numbers. So we're working out of this diagram, and we're starting on our 1s. And then we want to identify where our 3s are. We want to identify where our 5s are. So if I'm looking at this scale and I pull up this diagram, this shows me just where the notes of the 1 chord are. You will notice I haven't put numbers on there. Part of this is going to be for you to sit down and really play with this and internalize it, because looking at a piece of paper or doing it with like a I've never done this before. Just playing that up and down is not going to be super helpful. But no, when I'm here, knowing that my 1 is here and also here and also here and also here is helpful. And being able to go wherever I am, like I know where my notes are from the 1 chord wherever I'm working. So starting with that, starting with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and counting those out in my head, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 7, 6. Just kind of playing and announcing what the numbers are to yourself, saying them out loud, saying them in your head, however you want to do that. Closing your eyes and visualizing, whatever the thing is that works. Getting these numbers sort of internalized a little bit. And then as we continue to go, I'm going to want you to keep doing that, stopping with different exercises and doing that. Okay, but we have our major scale, and we have our one chord. And we've already talked about kind of like, look, sometimes the scale, knowing the scale and knowing the numbers, right? Besides that 5, which we're skipping a couple numbers, but 5, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That's the first time it skips a number. Ba ba is the first time. They got me singing. It's not good. It's not a good sign. So we're going to start with that. Now, okay, we're back. Merely a thought for camera makers. I'm sure there's a reason. If somebody knows, will you drop it down below? Why is it that I have to take the tripod mount off of the camera to change the battery? Why not put the battery and the tripod mount somewhere where like I can open the battery case without removing the mount? Whatever. Anyway. Okay, so chord shapes. This is the next thing. So I'm not going to go through all of the shapes. You can identify them on the diagram here, but check it out. So if I'm on the middle 3 strings, well, middle 3, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2. So 1, 3, 5 on my 1 chord, and then I know that if I start on the 3. There's my shape. If I start on the 5, there's my shape. There's my shape. I can do the same thing on the top 3 strings. Okay. And I can keep going, but knowing that shape and then being able to find the shapes around it, so knowing that my 1 chord is here, okay, but then my 4 chord is here, and then my 5 chord, right? And then 1 again, then 4, then 5, then 1. You can keep going up. I got out of tune there at the end, I don't care. The point is, finding these shapes, starting to familiarize yourself with the board. Now, I would just take a second and do that with what we're working on, but I want to get into our first real exercise. And so what I really want to talk about is this. This is our backing track for today. And it's really simple, okay? We got our 1 chord, and then our 4 chord, then our 1 chord, and then our 5 chord. And it does that 4 times. So 1, 4, 1, 5. 1, 4, 1, 5. If I know the notes in the 1 chord, they're right here. And if I know the notes in the 4 chord, they're right here. Well, the note above each note in my 1 chord is here, and the note in each note below my 4 chord is here. I now know all the notes. I know all the notes between 1 and 4. The same thing is true between 5 and 1. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. But basically, if I know the note above my 1, it's a 2. If I know the note below my 4, it's a 3, and then 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a weird way to explain it, but so I know. The first exercise we're going to do is this. Check this out. I'm going to pull up. These are the notes in each of our chords. 1 is 1, 3, 5. 4 is 1, 4, 6. It's 4, 4, 6, 1, but 1, 6, 1, 4, 6. Yeah, either way. I think of it weird sometimes. But 1 is 1, 3, 5. 4 is 4, 6, 1. 5 is 5, 7, 2. The first exercise is going to be this. For each chord, play one note that's in the scale. And now check it out. Each of these notes, let's transfer this to this other one. Each of these notes I can go up. If I'm on my 1 chord, it's 1, 4, 5, 1, 3, 5. And I can play the 1 chord, the 1 note against it. While the 4 chord, I can also play the 1. Right? Back to the 1 chord, I can play the 1 again. And then down to the 5 chord, I can play the 7. But we can work our way through any of these lines. So the first exercise is going to just be 1 note per chord. I was going to start on the 3, but I'm going to start on the 1. I got very excited. I was like, I'm going to do something completely different than we just talked about. Check it out. I'm going to start with that 1, 1, 1, 7, and then I'm going to start mixing it up and calling it out. But we're going to start on the 1. 1. And then 1. Hold it tight and then vibrato. 7. I screwed that up, but that's okay. 3. Right? Down to 1. Up to 3. Then down to 2. Now, up to 3. Up to 4. Ooh, up to 5. Up to 7. Back down to 5. Yeah, down to 4. Down to 3. And then down to 2. Do it all over the neck. Let's go lower. Let's go. As a 3. Oh. Okay. Let's do it again, but lower. Let's try to work across the strings as opposed to doing this. Now, the one trick is, I don't know if I stated this, but following these lines, making sure that I know that wherever I'm going, I want it to be linear path, right? So if I'm picking a 3, I've only got 2 options. I'm either gonna go for the 4 chord, I'm gonna go down to the 1 or up to the 4. Those are our 2 options. Okay, so let's do it again, and this time, I'm so itchy. Let's do it again, and this time let's keep it lower. But again, we're following these lines. We're going to the next closest note for each chord. This is going to help us build coherent melodies, and then we can start jumping around later. But we start with keeping it tight, restricted. Here we go. I'm gonna start on the 3, on the 4 chord, on the 4 string. 3, up to 4. Okay, back down to 3, and then down to 2. Yeah, then down to 1. Down to 6. Back up to 1. Oh, and then down to 7. Yeah, back up to 1. Up to 3, up to 4. Yeah, down to 3. Then up to 5. Stay on 5. Right, and then 6. Back to 5. And then down to 2. Oh, now let's end on 1. Okay. Does this make sense what we're doing? That's our first exercise. Second exercise is going to be really similar, but now I want 3 notes per chord. So let's say what I want you to do is travel between 2 notes in the chord. So on the 1 chord, for example, we can go from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3, right? And then 4 chord, we go 4, 5, 6. And then the 1 chord again, now we go 5, 4, 3. And then the 5 chord, we can skip some notes, but we want to start and end on a chord tone. 5, 4, 2. See how that worked? 5, 4, 3 for the 1 chord. And then 5, 4, 2 for the 5 chord. And I just want you to move between the different notes. So I'm going to say them out loud as I'm doing them, but you're going to see this. So this is the second pattern, and we're getting used to moving between notes in each chord. The in-between note is coming from the scale, by the way. The 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 again. 2, 1, 7. Oh, 5, 7, 1. 6, 1, 7. 5, 1, 7. 2, 1, 7. Okay, now 5, 4, 3. 5, 4, 4. That's not right, but sorry, I should have been 6. It doesn't matter. 3, 2, 1. 5, 3, 2. 5, 7, 1. 5. I got lost at the end there trying to call them out. But I think that's important to call them out, and it's going to be important for you to call them out too, and this can help you and it can help me. But let's do that again. Let's do it again, and I'm going to try to be better at calling them out. But do you see what I'm saying? Does it make sense? I'm going in order. Let's do it again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 5, 3, 2. 5, 4, 2. 1, 2, 3. 4, 3, 1. 1, 7, 5. 2, 7, 5. Should have been 2, 1, 7. So the video's starting to get a little long, right? We've been doing this. This is a lot of exercise to start with, and I hope you can see what we're doing. We're working off of scale tones within the concept of chords. So I'm not even going to get into why there's blue dots and red dots yet. That's going to be the next one. What we really want to do is we want to start playing scale tones and then working in between different parts of the scale. So I'm moving linearly, even though I'm using scale tones, I'm moving linearly between them. So even though I'm using chord tones, pardon me, I'm working linearly. But wow, we're going off the rails now for sure. Linearly between them. So 1, 2, 3. The notes in the chord are 1 and 3, but we're moving up the scale, right? 4, 5, 6, that's part of the 4 chord, 4 and 6. 5, 7, 2, or 5, 6, 7 rather. We can hear the chords start to being aware in those. We're hearing that movement. Because the other thing, and this goes back to, so look, again, we're not working on speed, we're working on music. We're working on playing musically. That's the whole point of all of this. And so when I'm playing a melody, I want you to hear at least potential chord changes underneath the melody. You should hear it. You should hear what's happening in the chords. The other thing is, you should hear what's happening in the rhythm. There should always be a sense of rhythm and a sense of harmony underneath a melody or any lead line. These are things that I think get lost sometimes. That we move, I want to play fast. It's like, no, play music. And when I look at the guys who play the stuff that's memorable, the little fast stuff, it's great. It's sprinkling on top of a really important cake, which is these main notes, these main. Okay, so the main takeaway here is that when I am playing a melody or I'm playing a lead, there are a couple things that I want to be hearing more than anything else. I should be hearing the harmony underneath the lead. I should be hearing the rhythm of the song in the lead. When I listen to the great solos, when I listen to the great singers, it's not about a bunch of fast notes, although there are the fast little flurries, and we've covered a lot of ways to do that in various other lessons. You can go and look at some of those. But really, the key is a great melody, great touch. Hold the note, and then vibrato it. The foundation of this is that, and then finding the that wasn't right. Right? And then adding maybe a little like that was a terrible lick. But you know, I'm trying to figure out how to add something fast there, but right, if you're in the midst of a solo, this is how we work. This is how we move, but the key movement is there. Making one note sound good is so much more important than playing fast. And when I look at the guys that I am inspired by, when I look at the Derek Trucks and the AJ Gents and I don't know, you know, all the great slide guys, while there is an element of flash, the main thing there is melody, the main thing there is touch, the main thing there is making one note sound as good as possible, making things feel lyrical. So I hope you will work on this, and I hope that you will take the time and the effort to make each note sound good, to go slow. The speed will come. The more you do this, the speed will come. The working around a chord, I think I have some videos on that. I will do more, but the speed will come. Work on these shapes, right? Here's your 1 chord. I've also included, by the way, I've included a 4 chord and a 5 chord in the lesson materials. If you're looking for the lesson materials, I hope you will follow me on Patreon. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you will take the time to work through the lessons slowly. This is going to be a series of lessons. We're going to really talk about approaching melodies in major. We'll probably do a putting it all together video again. We'll do melodies in minor. We'll do a putting it all together video again. You know, we're going to talk about building solos, but also building how I work through changes, how I do it, you know, how I do it in a rhythm set, all the stuff. So just work through it slow. This knowledge is way more important than playing anything fast. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, please join me on Patreon if you really like this video, if you want to support the channel.